What's going on? Welcome back to another episode of Topic of Discussion. I am your host, Miles Berry. Without further introduction, let's get right into it. So, today I want to speak about accountability, and I also want to speak about a couple things just along those lines, right? So, this video is not going to be too long, so let's just go ahead and jump right into it. Okay. So, we have all experienced a relationship, a situationship, a friendship, some type of relationship, right? And some of us are married, and but at the same time, we all experience some type of relationship where two people are coming together as one and trying to add on to each other's happiness and trying to add on to each other's peace, correct? So within a relationship, right, we have our boundaries, we have things that we set that we don't want to cross as individuals. But at the same time, we got to have some bend, right? Some breathing room that we kind of give ourselves a little bit, so therefore we can make things work, right? So today I also want to speak on how much of yourself do you give before enough is enough. All right. How much are you willing to give to a relationship, a friendship, um, a relationship with parents, extended family, whoever it is? How much are you willing to give before enough is enough, right? Because sometimes we create these boundaries and we put in our mind, like, okay, if this person does this or if they take me down this path and it goes down this far, I can't, this is the point of no return. So once you get me here, it's no way that we can bounce back from this, right? So when we get to those points in our relationships, why do you guys feel like people continue to bend and bend and bend and bend, right? Although they say, okay, if this happens, I'm breaking up with this person. I no longer associate with myself with this person. But at the same time, you'll see those people still in relationships, right? Or you'll see somebody getting assaulted inside a relationship, or you know about it, or you heard about it, or you heard the stories about it, but at the same time they're inside the relationship, right? And you kind of, right, before I even say that, there are two sides to every story, right? So we have the person that's in it that might be getting assaulted, or that might be not standing on business with their boundaries, and then we have the outsiders that's looking in, right? So I always know it's two sides to a story, but I want to know, and I know we can't respond on here, so I just want you to think about it. But why do you feel like these people stay in relationships when their boundaries have been crossed, or they're getting assaulted domestically? They're getting physically abused, they're getting mentally abused, because sometimes we skip over mental abuse, right? And a lot of people, a lot of people might say, okay, well, how are you getting mentally abused? Like, how are you getting mentally abused? But the things people feed into your mind, right, can come with manipulation, right? They feed you things into your mind, and they mentally abuse your heart, they mentally abuse your soul, and they mentally abuse your mind, right? So we have physical abuse, and then we have mental abuse, right? So, and then on top of that, like I was just saying, you just have relationships where you create your boundaries and you let somebody continuously, continuously cross your boundary. And it's like, how many times are you gonna let this person do that before you leave a relationship? And I have spoken to some people that have been through these things, and I asked them, I say, okay, I understand you were in a relationship, and I understand that you were dealing with this person, but how do you get that far in a relationship, or how do you bend that far in a relationship that you let your boundaries get crossed, or that you let your mind get mentally abused, and you know it? It's not like you're starstruck or you didn't know what was going on. You knew what was going on, but you continuously let it happen. So I'm just sitting on the other side of things because I'm not in a relationship. So I'm looking at it from an outsider in. But at the same time, I asked them, I'm just like, why? You know what I mean? And the answer that you'll hear 9 times out of 10 is, I love them, right? Because I love them, or because they weren't showing me these traits from the beginning. And now when my heart got into it, it's like I can't take my heart out, and I just want to, they kept telling me they were going to change. They kept telling me they were going to change, but he kept putting his hands on me. He kept putting his hands on me. But at the same time, we'll talk about it. We'll make up. He'll tell me he's changing. He'll tell me he apologizes. And then we just do the same cycle over and over again. So then that goes back to my question again: when is enough enough, right? And I also wanted to jump back into what I was saying at the beginning, which I was going to talk about, which was accountability, right? So as we go through these relationships and as we deal with people that are mentally, physically, and spiritually abusing us, what part of that, or at what part do you hold yourself accountable and stop blaming the other person when you are allowing it, right? You are allowing that person to physically abuse you. You're allowing that person to mentally abuse you, but at the same time, you continuously go around this person. You continuously go in rooms with closed doors. You continuously put yourself in the environment for these things to happen, but at the same time, you come back crying about what happened, but at the same time, you keep putting yourself in that situation, right? And I want us to start holding ourselves accountable for the things that we are doing in our life. We need to start holding ourselves accountable for the energy that we are putting out. We need to start holding ourselves accountable for where we are at right now in our lives, right? And even with just saying that, I want us to understand that, of course, there are situations that could not be prevented and things happen, and that's part of life, right? And I understand that. Like, just sitting on this side of the camera, the microphone, whatever the case is, I understand sometimes life and we have no control over certain things that happen, right? But when they do happen, we have control on how we move forward, right? And sometimes when these things happen, and I understand we all go through relationships and we're going to go through dealing with people where we didn't expect things to happen, and it was no control. Like, I didn't expect that to happen. It happened, but at the same time, now I'm removing myself out of the situation. Now I learned from that. Now I know how I'm gonna move forward. I know how I'm gonna move forward into the next relationship. I know what I will allow. I know what I won't allow. I know the boundaries I would set, and I will understand that if they're getting close to that boundary, or if they cross that boundary in any way, I'm going to leave, and I'm not going to give them a second, third, fourth, fifth chance to try to correct themselves or tell me that they're better than that or apologize to me, regardless if you're sorry or if you're not sorry. I'm removing myself from the situation, right? And I feel like some people get confused on holding themselves accountable because they like to blame everybody, right? This person did this, this person did this, this person did this, this person did this. Okay, yes, they maybe have done it, but what did you do on your side to remove yourself from the situation? What did you do on your side to be a better person and remove again yourself from this situation? Because again, like I was just saying, that people will tell me that they continuously forgive, continuously continue in that relationship, thinking that things are going to change, and you keep forcing yourself to continue doing something that you don't want to do. So you're putting yourself through more pain, you're putting yourself through more stress, and at the end of the day, and after it's all over, you're gonna really be down on yourself and really mad at yourself and frustrated because you put yourself through that situation. And it's really nobody's fault except yours when you continuously do something that you could have got out of at an earlier point in your life, right? Or an earlier point in that relationship. So I really want us to sit down with ourselves and understand how I can be more accountable in my life. And the people that are in a relationship now, I want us to understand that because we are in a relationship, to have a healthy relationship, you can't be right all the time. All right. And I tell people this all the time, that when you come into a relationship, you have in your mind what's right, what's wrong, what you like, what you dislike, the things that you will allow, the things that you won't allow. You have all of this in your mind, right? But when you choose to entertain another individual, if it's a female or a male, a man or a woman, regardless of the case, you guys come from two different backgrounds. You guys are coming from two different total backgrounds of life. You were raised different, how you were brought up, the things that you've seen, the things that you've gone through. So how you were brought up to this point that I met you, I don't know the things that you went through. And inside of a relationship, when you really get to know somebody, you learn those things. You take time to understand, who are you, right? I don't want to know your past to judge you, but I want to know your past to understand you. I want to know your past to cater to you. I want to know your past to understand this is how you act now because of this, right? I want to know your past just to understand you. And I'm saying that all to say is, when two people come together as one, there are going to be things in a relationship that you have to sacrifice. And that's where you go to the drawing board and say, okay, am I willing to sacrifice? Do I like this person enough? Am I willing to sacrifice this where it's not going to destroy me as a person, but at the same time I got to give some to be in a healthy relationship. I got to give some, right? Because a lot of people jump into relationships and say, okay, well, I'm standing on business. This happens, then it's over, right? And I agree that you should set boundaries, but at the same time, you have to understand that you can't expect everything to be perfect in the side of a relationship. You can't expect everyone to be perfection. Everybody's going to have those flaws. And it's your job to understand of these flaws that this person has, are you willing to put up with it? And as you go inside a relationship, there are going to be things that make you angry, that frustrate you, that might stress you out because nobody's perfect. So therefore, when things happen inside of a relationship, right? You're not going to be perfect, they're not going to be perfect. So therefore, sometimes there are going to be disagreements, right? And although you might stand on what you say or what you believe in, sometimes you have to hold yourself accountable because they may not understand. Because I know before inside of relationships, situationships, whatever the case is, sometimes I truly don't understand. Now, I'm not saying I don't understand or I don't agree because I'm just trying to play devil's advocate or I'm just trying to disagree just to disagree. I really don't understand, but I want to understand. And at the same time, I'll hold myself accountable and apologize when I'm wrong. When I'm wrong, because I don't feel like I'm too big, I'm too of a man. I can't apologize or you're soft if you apologize. Part of a relationship, part of growing, part of being successful, part of being happy, part of being inside a relationship that can grow into marriage, that can grow to a family, that can grow into just a healthy environment. You have to be accountable for your actions. You can't be too big. Because if this is your partner, how are you gonna be bigger than your partner? Why are you trying to stand above your partner, but you want to be around this person all the time? Why do you want to look down at your partner, but sometimes you want to see eye to eye? You guys, you know what I'm saying? You want to be eye to eye when y'all make love. You want to be eye to eye in other situations when you're thinking with your flesh, but at the same time, when it's eye to eye, talking about a family or talking about bigger things inside of a relationship, you want to be the bigger person. You have to come back down to reality and understand, okay, for this to work, I have to be in a healthy relationship. I have to sacrifice because we're gonna sacrifice all throughout our life. And I want us to understand that when you hold yourself accountable for your actions, when you hold yourself accountable for your life, when you hold yourself accountable for everything that happens in life, when you have the opportunity to change, when you have the opportunity to do things different, we have to hold ourselves accountable because it's going to help us grow. It's going to help us develop. It's going to help us mature. And it's also going to help us in relationships in the sense of I'm not bigger than you. I want to be with you. I understand that we came from two different backgrounds, but I want to understand who you are as a person. So therefore, if this came off the wrong way when I said this, I apologize because I want to change the way that I say this moving forward. I want to change how I respond. I didn't need to raise my voice, right? I didn't need to do that. And when you start holding yourself accountable and you start changing your ways, if you continuously go down that same path and things still don't work, okay, maybe this is not the right person for you, right? But I just don't want us to be feeling like we're so above other people that we don't never hold ourselves accountable or we don't never hold ourselves to a certain standard, right? And I feel like in this today's generation, everybody wants to be above. Everybody wants to have success right now. Everybody wants to be where the world is, right? And I've been talking to people and I also have heard people and just been around people and people on this other side of this camera might know as well. We don't have everything together in our life. Some of us do, and I'm proud of y'all. I'm proud of y'all. And I hope y'all continue to keep pushing, keep being the best version of yourselves. But the majority of people don't have their life together like they want to. Right? We're still trying things. Some of us are starting over. Some of us ran into problems with our life. Some of us lost things. It's like lives, right? So therefore, everybody's not in the same position. And Sometimes people get inside relationships or start dealing with people and expect them to be here, and instead of accepting people for where they are, right? You can understand their potential, you can understand where they're going, you can believe in them fully, but at the same time, you still have to accept where people are right now in their life, right? You can't just be with somebody and be like, okay, well, I want you to be developed, so you're going to be developed right now. And they say, oh, okay, well, you're not trying. When it comes to trying inside a relationship, when it comes to trying with a friendship, when it comes to trying with any type of relationship, I just look at what are you doing? Right? Because we all know actions speak louder than words. So I can understand and hear you saying, okay, I'm gonna do better. But are your actions showing that you're doing better? And if you're making little steps, that's progress to me. Right? I don't expect you to jump from here to here and be perfect. Or if you said you're gonna change this, and I don't expect you to change overnight. If you did, oh my gosh, amazing. But at the same time, we try to hold people to a certain standard, like everything has to be like clockwork, everything has to be in an instant, everything has to be like the society that we live in right now, which is the microwave society, which everything has to be done in an instant. Everything has to be, success needs to be now. I need this now. I need to have this car now. I need to have this money now. I need to have this job now. I need everything right now. I need everything right now. And everything doesn't come right now. Relationships are not just going to be perfect in a day. You're not just going to go from zero to $1 million in a day, right? The chances of that is slim to none, right? So the majority of people, it's a process to do everything. And once you start to realize that and implement that to every part of your life is going to go much smoother. You're going to be happier. You're going to be more successful. Everything around you is going to be better because your mindset is better. The way you think is better. And the way that you're moving is now in a positive manner every single day. So you have nothing less than being great. Like, right? You're reaching for nothing less than being great. Every day, you're just taking it one day at a time and you're understanding it's a process, right? And you guys heard me say this before. It's a marathon, not a race. It's a marathon. So enjoy the process of the marathon. The marathon. Get better every single day, making sure that you're developing, making sure that if you're inside of a relationship, making sure that you really love this person for who they are, not who you want them to be. Again, make sure that you love them for who they are and not who you want them to be. A lot of people get inside relationships for who they want them to be. Okay, this person looks exactly like the person I want, but the way they think, the way their perspective of the world, I kind of don't like it, but maybe I can change them because they got the looks I want, but their mindset is not right. You have to love people for who they are. So if you like somebody for their looks, but you don't love them or you don't like them for their mentality or the way they think or the perception of the world, maybe that person's not for you, right? Maybe that person's not for you. We have to love people for who they are. That's real love. That's genuine love. That's genuine, right? So moving forward in life, even with friendships, even with anything, any type of relationship with anybody in life, it needs to be genuine, right? I can already know where you're going or process in my mind where you're going from the things that you said to me, but I'm going to accept you for who you are now. And if I don't want to accept you for who you are now, I'm going to remove myself out of the situation, the relationship, or whatever we got going on, the friendship. So I want us to move forward in a better direction for the ones that are not. I want us to think positive. I want us to hold ourselves accountable for our actions and the predicaments that we have put ourselves in or are putting ourselves in right now. Moving forward, I need us to change. I want us to change. I want us to get better. I want us to be healthy. I want us to live as long as possible. Don't kill yourself early. Don't kill yourself early through stress. Don't kill yourself early through trying to rush through the process, and through the process you crash out because you wanted it so bad, but at the same time you didn't want to enjoy the process to get it. So sometimes we just have to slow life down, and I'm in the process of slowing my life down now because I want to be here, but right now I'm right here. And I need to understand how to be right here to get me to over there, right? Because it's like I'm so caught up on trying to move forward, trying to get to my future, trying to get past this moment, trying to get past everything that's going on right now that it's prolonging me moving forward because I never focus on this moment here. You guys get what I'm saying? It's hard to move forward if you don't understand where you are at now, because what you're moving forward with is this version of yourself, and although it can change in the process of you moving forward into that next step or next chapter of your life, you still have to understand this version to move it forward. Because if not, you're always going to be looking at that next chapter. You're always going to be looking ahead, but you're never going to be moving because you always been at a standstill because you never got in tune with this version of yourself. So I want us to really just think about where we are at in our life. And I want us to understand how to move forward. I want us to start holding ourselves accountable. I want us to start enjoying people and loving people for who they are and not who you want them to be. I want us to get out of toxic, abusive relationships, abusive friendships, anything that's hurting your soul, anything that's not good for you. I want us to get out of that to be a better version of ourselves, to be happier in our lives. And regardless of what you lose, to get out of that situation, I want you to understand that whatever you lose and whatever you can take, whatever you have when you get out that situation, that's what you need to take forward. Don't continue to take negativity. Don't continue to take toxic relationships into your future. It's only going to prolong your future. It's only going to prolong those next steps that you need in your life. Okay. I hope you guys got something out of today. This has been Topic of Discussion. Miles Berry, we out.